My MySpace username was KoreanBoy64.
My MySpace name was Dr. Peter Venkman.
It was Gnarly Ariel.
My MySpace username was the Camouflage Chameleon.
My first account was my personal one. It was Dan Ackerman NYC, because someone else got there first and got regular Dan Ackerman.
And I was like friends with all these like older like cooks and stuff that I worked with. And they would all be like, "What's up, Chameleon?"
And then later they moved to a much more music-oriented platform, so I made a second account, Dan Ackerman Music, where I uploaded all kinds of music from different albums and stuff I worked on.
My MySpace username, I don't even want to tell you what it was. The top 8 of MySpace was so important, and it felt like such a big deal to be in someone's top 8. You always felt like you had to reciprocate the feeling, right? Like if your best friend put you as their number 1, you had to put them at least at number 3, 2, or 1.
Not only is like isolating 8 of your friends or your family members like kind of messed up, but then there was like ranking within the top 8.
Do you remember that one of them was a girl that I had a crush on, and I thought it was like a subtle message to them that, hey, you're on my top 8 and I'm interested in you, kind of things.
It's lame if Tom is in your top 8 because you're like, this person's not a serious user.
Messed up in my head that I like evaluated all my friendships and like put one before the other, and it was like this thing. It's like, and it was obvious, and I think that's what everyone did.
Hell yeah, I decorated my MySpace page. It was very clashy. That was a big mistake. They shouldn't have let people do that.
I just remember everyone had these wild pages with blinky things and flashy things, and everything was so seizure-inducing, and I took it as a point of pride to keep my page very mellow, very sedate.
Designing your own page was a really big deal if you knew how.
So MySpace is where I actually learned HTML, like learned what it was and what you could do with it.
I would go on to different people's MySpace, steal their codes.
And then you could put that into your page and then kind of modify it.
Or I would go on Google and look for, MySpace theme codes, and you can go and like copy and paste these certain codes.
You had to like drill down into the HTML, and you could like code your own page up. It was the first time I remember ever looking at the internet and being like, oh, everything on the internet is just a big word puzzle. I can figure this out.
It made me realize like, oh wow, this is actually so much easier to put stuff together.
Man, I don't remember like a lot of what the hell you did on MySpace. It was way more like lurking, I feel like.
I think I mostly posted some photos and looked at some of my friends' photos, a very early version of photo sharing. Obviously, music stuff became a big part of it. That was the main thing. We weren't really posting links back then so much as simply making an outpost for other people to come and see.
A lot of my friends followed bands, but someone that I particularly remember was Tila Tequila, because she was Vietnamese American and she was a car model then. And like a lot of my guy friends had her on their top 8, which is like kind of cringy on their part. And then I was just like, who is she? I was like super infatuated with her. But now she's a neo-Nazi and a white supremacist, so we don't talk about Tila Tequila anymore.
Sounds just like the internet today.
Yeah.
You didn't have push notifications or anything, and people could just post whatever they wanted to. So like, I remember I had some friends that were like really crude and would like overnight they would post some like obscene image or something on my profile, and I'd have to like check in the morning and go like delete it because it was like so gross.
Me and my friend's garage band, we put our music on there.
Well, you put your own music on
Yeah.
MySpace?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Was it good music?
I mean, probably not, but we put it out there. I think that's, it's all that matters.
So I moved from Chicago when I was a little boy, and I had an extended family that I left. And many years later, they were trying to look for me on their end. And back then, MySpace was the only social platform that you can actually go through and find people, right? And my name is John Kim, so I'm sure there was a billion John Kims in the world. And somehow they were able to look for me on MySpace and connect with me. This whole reunion happened through MySpace. So
just remember, like, even in 2004, whenever it was, where I was like, at the most I was ever into it, I just constantly remember being like, this site feels unfinished. And I just remember thinking like, this is very ugly, even for 2004 on the internet. I just remember that. So yeah, that's all I remember about MySpace. I'm glad it's over.